Okay, beloved. I've been contemplating doing this video since last week, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to divulge this because I know a lot of people don't believe in readings and tarot and stuff like that. But I educated myself on readings and tarot, and um, it's very helpful. Um, it's a gift that all of us could have, but we just don't understand it. And I taught myself to understand it, so I'm gonna share this with you guys. Um, I wasn't aware of these two when too long before. I didn't get aware of them till after Duck died, and when I saw Duck laying in the street, it kind of compelled me to do some research because I was hearing a lot about the murders going on in Chicago, and I couldn't fathom how these numbers were so large on the weekend: 75, 150, and 60 over a 2 day span over the weekends. And, there was a lot of reports floating around on Facebook and stuff like that. So I decided to uh, dig a little deeper. And as I was digging, and Duck died, and then Vaughn was saying that he and Duck was speaking, texting each other, and they were talking, and they were going to make peace, and he's going to continue carry the torch. And people were claiming that he was trolling and lying, and he started to explain himself. And I remembered that he was like, "We were talking; they just won't release the text messages." Now, Vaughn winds up dying now, and someone said something to Mama Duck on one of her lives, and she was like, "One day I'll release the text messages," but she didn't say what the content was. But that kind of matched up what Vaughn was saying about the text messages. I don't think that Mama Duck is holding any information or anything. I don't think that she's even seen them herself, because most likely that phone, the police have that phone, and they probably haven't released it yet. It's probably evidence. So she can't do anything with that phone until this whole case is closed and everything is done. But what I decided to do is, because I always felt in my spirit that they were both tired of the wars. Not only them, but probably a lot of other people that was involved in these wars was tired, and they just didn't want to be a punk and wind up being the one saying they want to stop. Um, it had gone too far, and I believe that outsiders were also playing a part in making sure that it went too far, and that these children would wind up in a bad position. And a lot of them are dead now, and it bothers me. But since I was knew the most details about Duck and Vaughn, because they're the ones that's mostly talked about, it's a lot of information about them and their relationship, I was able to assess what is going on out there by looking at their stories and doing some research on STL, doing some research on OWA. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to position this phone so that I could talk to y'all, and I want y'all to be able to hear me. Because when I listened to it before, it sounded like all you hear is the air conditioner, and that's not good. The air conditioner isn't even that loud. But I pulled some cards, family, and I'm going to show y'all the results of the cards that I pulled. I wanted to do this video a while ago, but I just wasn't sure if I wanted to share this information or if people would take it seriously. But something keeps telling me that I have to release this reading that I did. So I'm going to do it. Started it on August 18th. I haven't really finished. I was going to pull 9 cards since Duck and Vaughn has so much 9 energy. Um, Duck being born December 6th, and 6 plus 3 is 9. He has that 9 ether energy. King Vaughn was actually born on the 9th. He has that ether energy. And also, 3 is a derivative of 9. So, Duck's number was number 3. He was always mentioning 63rd Street, which was where he claimed his set was from. 63rd Street is 963. Um, Vaughn died approximately 3 months after Duck, which is approximately 90 days after Duck. He was also sitting in a car for 30 minutes. That's another 3. It happened on November 6th, the 6th day of the month. The shooting started to take place at 3 a.m. That's another 6 and another 3. There's a lot of energy there. And then after um, Duck and Vaughn died, MO3 was the third one that died, the third major figure in this energy that passed away. And his birthday is May 9th. 5 plus 4 is 9. So I think I'm on to something here when it comes down to their energy and their soul groups and where they come from. But it's not something I could just explain in this video. So I would say that this video would cater to mostly the people that already have some type of knowledge about spirituality. Because if you don't, I won't be able to educate you just in one video. So the first card that I pulled, family, was actually a 9. The 9th card of the sword suit of the tarot deck. 9 swords. You see that at the bottom? A puppet, basically broken up. And when I went to read up on the 9 of swords, the card said cruelty. It says it on the bottom of this card. This is the urban deck that I'm using that was referred to me by a friend. It's a very good deck when you want to find out certain things, or you want to confirm what your spirit is telling you about entertainers. The urban tarot deck. So this card says cruelty at the bottom. And when I looked up what it meant, it said, in the other 3 nines, which is the other suits of the tarot, you have wands, you have swords, you have pentacles, and you have cups. So in the other 3 nines of the other suits, we see the most mature, positive expression of each of their respective elements. The discs and the cups bring us gain and happiness respectfully, the full enjoyment of what material and emotional wealth can offer. The wands bring us fortitude with the 9, the enduring power of the spirit to meet all of the challenges that life can sit before us. Why then do we find ourselves seeing nothing but cruelty here in the 9 of swords? The realm of air. This is an air card, so that would be Libra, Gemini, Aquarius energy, air energy. The realm of air offers us no restful end point. No restful end point. Now I'm talking about the situation between the GDs and the BDs over there in Chicago on the south side. The realm of air, the energy, offered no restful end point, meaning there will be no peaceful end to that. There is no finish line for the mind. There is always another problem to solve, another question still unanswered. Take any idea far enough, and you will find the point where you must choose between being right and being humane. Now, doesn't that match with what they were going through as far as life and death? Should they kill? Should they not kill? Being humane means thinking about humanity, considering humanity, being a humanitarian, caring about your fellow man. Choose one path and you will have to step away from the cerebral element of air. Let yourself be guided by the heart instead of the mind. Choose the other path and suffering will inevitably follow. They chose the wrong paths. It's basically saying you have 2 choices. You can either try to squash this beef and handle it another way, or you can pick up these guns and continue to kill each other. And they all chose the wrong paths. They used the energy. We always have a crossroads where we can pick and choose which route we're going to take. And they chose the wrong route. That's what this card is saying. The people who create dictatorships begin by trying to create order and harmony. The people who build weapons start by trying to create peace. The people who perpetuate violence start by trying to protect the people they love. They all wanted to protect each other, their friends, and each other from attacks. They all say that. They all say that. I equate that line, the people who perpetuate violence start by trying to protect the people they love, to gang wars. The most terrifying conclusions begin with the most noble of goals, meaning they were trying to be noble, they were trying to be stand up dudes standing on their 10 toes. But they had just chose the wrong way to deal with their problems. And they didn't want to step down from that or be labeled a punk or, a coward. Okay? The end justifies the deed, meaning you reap what you sow. We have always understood that the deeds we would need to justify, and I'm going to say murders because that's what was happening, by that phase would involve turning a blind eye to the suffering of others, turning a blind eye to these people's family, turning a blind eye to these people outside with their children, turning a blind eye to righteousness. If our end is important enough, noble enough, isn't some small amount of cruelty justified? After all, in any wrong calculation, if the stakes are high enough, the human factors simply cancel each other out. So they canceled out caring about having to take life because they were in survival mode. That's the nine. That's the first card that came out, y'all. The 9 of Swords, the 9 ether energy, air, action, choices. Okay. The second card I pulled. Where did I put those cards at, y'all? Trying to be neat here. The second card that I pulled was the Emperor. And this is also air energy. The Emperor card. You see that authority there? It's kind of like an authority card. Okay? And I'm going to break down to you what it means. It means a significant power shift is imminent. Karma, crossroads. Universal law is the authority here. Universal law is the Emperor. Free will and being stubborn. Free will meaning you have a choice in the decisions that you make that will determine your destiny. So this is the second card that came out. Okay? The Emperor. He is a symbol of the highest ideals of what we think of as masculine, strong, wise, just. He is steadfast in his protection and is unwavering in his resolve. He is a symbol of the harder side of authority, a parental figure who holds us to a higher authority, a parental figure who holds us to a higher standard of ethics and enforces the rule of law. He teaches us responsibility and morality with a firm and measured hand. The resolution of a recent conflict is approaching. Meaning, depending on their choices from what we got on this card, they had to make a choice. They had to choose a crossroad. Okay? And they chose a cruel crossroad. They chose a cruel method of handling their problems. Right? Now, the resolution of this conflict is approaching. So these two cards represent the past. And this was where they were both at their crossroads to make a decision. This would have been the best time to make peace. And I truly believe that time was when Duck tried to reach out with the Chicago Legend song. Okay, because this is what y'all have to understand. Duck had just had children maybe 4 years ago. He got 4 children. 4 or 5 years ago, he started having children. His brother died. His cousin died. All his friends were dying. Let's go into Duck's mindset now. All his friends were dying. His brother died. His cousin died. He had children now. He had a daughter now. Now they're looking at the future. It's not just about him. It's about him, his family, and his children. Okay? Children that depend on him. Children that need their father there. Vaughn. Vaughn had, and they both were now at the cusp of becoming superstars, at the cusp of becoming financially stable as they never were before. Because even if Duck had less money than them, he still had a lot of money. 1.8 million in his distribution deal with Sony, if I'm not mistaken. 1.8 is what? 1 plus 8 is 9. I ain't joking around here with this 9 shit, okay? He also did 2 videos where he was filming the videos in front of buildings that in numerology equaled 9. 6318 and 558. Because 10 plus 8 is 18, 8 plus 1 is 9. 558, right there on the corner of St. Lawrence and 63rd. With that red awning. That was the intro video. You got Vaughn now. Vaughn, he's becoming a superstar. He ain't really, he's trying to be faithful and loyal to his friends, and he's still saying fuck the ops and all that stuff, but he has a new life now. He has a new beginning now. He's turning into a superstar. He didn't think that his music was going to pop off like that, but Dirk came in the door. He already had the clout that he needed. He already had the image that he needed. Okay, somebody was already in the industry and grandfathered him, took him under the wing, and he was in a good position. He bought his mother a house. Duck bought his mother a house. They would both share money with their friends. Duck didn't have as much money as Vaughn did, but he did. There is a video where he was giving out money to his friends, just like Vaughn. They had very similar personalities. They were just on different sides. In their deaths, the same rumors were out. There was rumors that Vaughn got robbed. There was rumors that Duck's house got robbed. There was rumors Vaughn's house got robbed. There was rumors their friends went in their house and robbed them. There was rumors that they was no longer trusting their friends anymore. Totally. Not all of them. What else? It was more than one thing with both of them. Oh, there was rumors that his music was stolen. There was music that Duck's music was stolen. There was rumors they were sacrificed. There was rumors Duck was sacrificed by Sony. There was rumors Vaughn was sacrificed by Dirk. So this is both the record labels. This is both the industry. So, and both of them are in the industry now. They're looking at life way differently than just being in O Block and on STL. Okay? My third card that I pulled was the 5 of Swords, which is also a war card like the 9 of Swords. Okay? The 5 of Swords, defeat. Because they had made this choice when the Emperor was watching, when the Most High was watching, when the Universal Spirit was involved. They chose to keep going with this war. Duck tried to stop, but eventually he came back into it, trying to defend himself. I guess he might have felt like they was punking him because they kept dissing all the time when he was trying to make peace and stop dissing. He tried, But peer pressure is something else when you're young. You know what I mean? You want to do anything to please your peers and look like you're the coolest or you're the baddest. We all know about that. So, the next card is the 5 of Swords. Defeat, which is Aries energy. This is fire energy. Okay? This card indicates that you are engaging in a conflict of some nature. All of them is towards a conflict. All the cards I'm pulling. It can also suggest a disagreement with others, which leads to hostility and tension. Despite the fact that you have won, you might still lose in the big picture, meaning they won. They have another alternative. Okay? You might still lose in the big picture because you have annoyed or hurt those that you have argued with. And as a result, you are on the road to isolating yourself. Perhaps at the moment, you believe that it was more important to be right rather than appreciate and understand where the other side was coming from. Don't this go to what's going on between them? This card, the when I was doing this reading, the cards were so precise, y'all. It's no way that this could be a lie. It's no way. Perhaps at the moment you believe that it was more important to be right than appreciate and understand where the other side was coming from. Right now, it's important to attempt to pick up the pieces. They both knew they wanted to make peace but didn't because of their peers. They wanted to. I felt that in my spirit. And my spirit does not lie to me. Okay? You still have the chance to act while the conflict is still fresh. They still had a chance at this point. You may feel as if everyone and everything is against you. You might also lose some friends along the way. This is why you will need to make a significant decision about your point of view. What is more important to you? Mutual progress or winning? This might require you to stand up to a conflict within yourself. And the conflict they both had within themselves was that they wanted to resolve this issue. They just didn't know how to without being disrespected or losing their images. Okay? This card represents ambition in a way which is rather negative. Their ambition was towards winning that war. Too much ambition without actual regard to the consequences or the people that you affect is never something good. Misplaced ambition, such as the one depicted by this card, can leave you as a dejected loser or a callous winner. In both cases, the connotation is rather negative. This card instead asks us to be more considerate of those that we surround ourselves with, to let go of the ego. So the ego played a big part in their deaths. And the ego played a big part in them not coming together and realizing that they've been tricked to kill each other. It wasn't supposed to go this far. Okay. The fourth card I picked was strife. All the cards, fives are usually cards of fighting and beefing. And that's exactly what was going on. And this card came out. This was the fourth or the fifth card. Which card was this? This was the fourth card. Number 5, strife. You can see it says it right there. Strife. Okay? I'm going to tell y'all what that means. Friction and conflict. All of the cards are speaking on conflict and choices. All of them so far. Element, fire, planet. This is another fire card. It's a Leo card, energy. The 5 of Wands represents disagreement and conflict. This minor arcana card also indicates that a challenge must be met and urges you to rise to the occasion. Spiritually, the spirit realm, the heavens wanted them to end this war. That's what this is saying. The 5 of Wands, like all of the 5s of the tarot, is about shaking up this static complacency of the 4s and the Wands. Completion leads to strife, competition, contest, battle, different factions clashing with each other. I can't make this up. Different factions clashing with each other. That's the games. GD versus GD. It's easy to see the negatives of this card, but they are positive as well. Competition and strife can lead us to better ourselves, to overcome and grow. Eventually, that competition can lead us to victory with the 6. But first, we must fight to defend our position. They didn't fight to defend their positions. They chose instead to keep on going on with this war when neither one of them really wanted to. Both of them were seeing a different world. Both of them had money. Both of them had children. Both of them were realizing their responsibilities as men. Both of them were coming into their manhood. Both of them were already in the industry. Movement has, of course, encountered resistance in its drive to make a difference. No matter how righteous your cause or how good your idea, there will always be those who will have a different point of view. So outsiders was stopping this from happening because they had a different point of view. They didn't want them to make peace. Okay? And recently it's been coming out after I started this reading, maybe a day or two after. Bo Deal had an interview with Capone News or something like that, and he said they were in talks. So I'm not bugging here. I did this before that. I pulled these cards before that. I have no reason to lie. The next card I pulled was Dominion, which is a Two of Wands, Dominion. Two of Wands represents progress, discovery, and going out into the world to achieve your goals, adventure and progress, a new adventure. Both were pursuing their dreams with passion. They had a new adventure. They had a new thing to conquer, the industry. Their energy was going more into their music. They were using their creative juices, their creativity to do something else. Okay? A person represented by the Two of Wands is a natural leader. They were both natural leaders, whose charisma and charm makes others take to them instantly. They have a clear vision for their future and will work hard to make their dreams come true. Two of Wands personalities are also highly courageous and competitive, which allows them to accomplish their goals but can also work against them. They should be careful not to let their drive for success negatively impact other areas of their life. So, the dissing and the going back and forth. Okay? With the music. Because their adventure and their progress was the industry. They were both had very good positions in the industry and both well respected artists. But their drive for success negatively impacted other areas of their life. Could have been success with this gang stuff. Okay? Because they incorporated into it was incorporated and meshed with their musical careers. The beef was a big part of it. The Suit of Wands is a story of a social movement, an ideal that spreads and gains power as others take up its banner, the will to take a stand for the better. So it keeps on saying they had a choice to take a stand for the better. Because if those two would have took a stand and followed their hearts and their natural ambitions, what they really wanted to do, it might have had a big difference in Chicago. A huge difference. Maybe not everybody, but it would have impacted a lot of people. The next card I pulled was the Prince of Wands, the journalist. The journalist. So what that tells me is that social media played a part. These people reporting on these murders and reporting on the gang activity, people such as academics, played a big part in this decision and things going the way that it went. Okay? A noble trickster, the journalist. These journalists take risks to do what they want to do and to become successful, but they put these kids' lives in danger. And their peers, the kids are watching and they don't want to be embarrassed. They got put on Front Street. Everything they were doing was being reported. It was no longer a beef amongst them. You had a whole bunch of outsiders that were involved now. And it's funny that this card came out because y'all all know, if you know about the drill scene, how much these bloggers played a part in people dying and this beef continuing. And the last card is the Ace of Wands, which probably depicts the final outcome. The Ace of Wands was also adventure and progress. So basically, they had a decision to make because they had two crossroads. They could not mix the gang activity and their progress in life. Whether it had been in the industry, it just happened to be the industry, or anything else. They would not progress in life by continuing to gravitate to that negative energy that caused both sides to kill. So basically, what my reading said to me, the question I asked was Duck and Vaughn eventually going to make peace? I think if they had more time, they would have. But the cards showed me all the conflicts and what they were thinking at the time and what they were considering in order to make peace and why it never happened. Because they chose the wrong crossroads. They chose loyalty to negativity instead of loyalty to progress. And they both had the power to make a decision that would have affected the greater good. So rest in peace to those two brothers. I wish we could bring all of these people back, but we can't. But what we can do is not let them all die in vain. And now that most of us see the damage that has been done and the outcome has been so horrible, maybe we can change it now for the better. Peace and love.